How'd you get hooked up with this project?
Combination of things. But really HBO connected me, and I have a phenomenal relationship over there, and they asked me if I wanted to work on the project. And then it was my job to put together creative that was worthy of Shaq's attention, for him to agree to be involved and to sit for all I needed to sit for to build a series. And that's how we did it.
And the creative that you came up with is?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I'm really excited for people to see it. It's a really, really fresh approach. I don't think, I'm proud to say, I don't think I've ever seen a sports doc or a lot of docs in the space that's ever looked like this before. The first film, we took inspiration from old monster movies, so there's kind of this feel to it. The second one is inspired by superhero stories and comic book origin stories.
That's a very Shaq thing.
Yeah, it's a very Shaq thing. So it's kind of the rise of Shaq, which is really cool. So again, so there's literally like comic book elements that run throughout the entire film.
Yes.
The third one's just a little bit more moody, a little bit about his tension in LA and his journey during that time. And so that one kind of has this like film noir feel to it.
Oh.
And the fourth one is inspired a lot in the Shaq is this element that exists in so many different spaces and social, obviously commercial, television, film, everywhere. So the fourth film is it's inspired by a lot of different mediums. So there's like social media elements to it, film elements to it, television elements to it that are really cool. So,
oh my goodness gracious! And did you get Shaq to agree to it because you said you would not talk about Kazam at all?
That was in the contract.
That's part
of one of the things we had to lock off on. Yeah,
I'm just having some fun.
Yeah,
look, because
sure.
he is just a larger than life individual, and I don't mean because of his size.
Yes.
I'm just talking about just how giving he is, how big-hearted he is, how funny he is.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this when we were at the Super Bowl in Atlanta a few years ago on our show, and he was one of our guests. Yeah. And he walked in, and we had the set was built, and it was a much smaller door than he would fit through. You remember this? How he walked on the set? He walked on the set, and I think this is a stock thing for him, where he slapped the top of the doorway and acted like he banged his head.
Right. Yeah.
And the whole crowd, because it was a live studio audience, was like, "Whoa, are you okay?"
Yeah.
And that was just like his gag way of entering.
Yeah.
And it seemed like that's something he probably does pretty much everywhere he walks in.
He's so spectacular playing to every room exactly as he needs to.
Right.
It seems to be like an entirely unique interaction he has with every space he's in.
Right.
And it's like he can sense it's because, I'm lucky enough to make films and television, work on a lot of different projects. And sometimes you just interact with these people who are just aliens. And they're just so unique on how they interact with the world and the people that are there. And to know it's like, this is the best thing I can do in this space.
Right.
And Shaq is one of the most unique people in the world.
What'd you learn about him that you didn't already know? Because I imagine you came to this project fully knowledgeable of his world.
As a fan, for sure. As a kid who grew up loving Shaq, loving Kobe, I think that I learned that Shaq is exactly on camera the way he is off camera. He is one of the most genuine individuals I've ever interacted with.
Yes.
I think something else that's great about him is that he loves joy, and to like such a high level that he just always wants to find a positive space, not only for himself but everyone he's around, which is great. And I think he's and on the total flip side, he's ruthless when it comes to business and his money and what he wants to achieve and what he wants his legacy and what his name to mean. I think he's like, he will not take any hesitation, no questions asked. This is what I am. This is what I'm going to represent. So
yeah, that's a word I don't think I've ever heard ascribed to Shaquille. Is ruthless. When it comes to that. Yeah. Did you witness that yourself? Did you see anything like that?
I think it's just, as we got deeper into talking about how he approaches business, how he approached his basketball career.
Yes.
There's no reservations. There's no hesitation. I decide I want to be known as this level of dominance. I decide I want to earn this type of money.
Yes.
I decide that I want the name Shaq to resonate beyond just the basketball court. I want to be a brand. I want to be a presence that the world will know. And I will not take anything other than that. And he was so definitive of that. And it was exciting to see because he was also able to do that. I think understanding his just natural exuberance and power of humor and joy. So he has this incredibly intelligent way of weaving it all together.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.